Hi everybody, I'm Carole Freeman of Hypnotic Nutrition. I'm the creator of the 90-Day Keto Diet Challenge. I'm here today with Jim Kellner. Jim, who the heck are you?
Who the heck am I?
Yeah, who are you? I don't even know you.
She just showed up.
I know. We're driving by. I'm like, this place looks good. Let's come in here and see this guy.
Well, I'm a hypnotherapist and a comedy hypnotist.
Okay.
I live here in Phoenix. I used to live in Seattle, but it was too cold and rainy. And so,
That's why I came down.
right, exactly. Good time to come. And best haircut in the biz. So that's me.
Okay. Well, so how did you get into hypnosis?
Okay, so my journey with hypnosis was a little bit mixed. And I mean, as far as, well, here's what happened. So ever since I was a little kid, I was into all kinds of weird stuff. In fact, I remember I was reading books on like Chinese medicine and stuff when I was in junior high. In high school, I remember I checked out a book on voodoo, and the love spell didn't work, so I gave it up, probably because I didn't have any chicken beaks or something like that.
Okay.
And so I was just always into weird stuff, and so hypnosis always fascinated me. And I sort of thought it was sort of fake. And then I took a class when I was about 20 or so, and I got some hypnosis myself, but I wasn't really convinced about it. And then so I kind of went back and forth on it. And then I finally went and I took I went to massage school.
Okay.
And because I was always wanting to heal people. And I ended up, right after that, I went to training to learn to be a hypnotherapist. And it's sort of, I've always kind of gone back and forth with believing and not believing. And it's so funny because now when people say, well, it would work for me because I don't believe. Mm-hmm. And I say, well, you know what? You don't have to believe in gravity to fall down, right? So, and that's how it is with hypnosis. You don't have to believe.
Yeah.
And a lot of you think you have to believe. This isn't religion. It's been scientifically proven now. And so once I became aware of some of the research, it was kind of it made a lot more sense. And then I still was I wasn't in practice because I didn't know how to do it exactly. And then finally one day I was almost 300 pounds. The highest I got weighed at the doctor's was about 270.
Okay.
But I know I got up even higher than that. So I mean, we're talking 280, 290. And my life was it just sucked. It was in every conceivable way.
And you're about 4'8", right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it was perfect. And I just started listening to this hypnosis by a very famous hypnotist, controversial with some hypnotists, but I started listening to this MP3 of Paul McKenna, and I started losing weight, and it came off the first, 50 pounds came off pretty easily, and then the rest struggled with, and I'd gotten down to about 200. And then I gained back about 20.
Okay.
And so that's where I'm at now.
Okay. What period of time was that for you with hypnosis weight loss?
It was probably over about 3 years total. Well, then, even ever since then, I kind of go back and forth. One of the things is with hypnosis, it's not a magic cure, and you do have to prioritize your health, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't.
Okay.
But after I lost a lot of weight, I started working at a clinic in Seattle, or in Bellevue, and helping other people. And so I was a hypnotherapist there and helped really thousands of people in that time. It was a very busy clinic. Okay. And it was a great experience. Really great.
So it helped you believe more in the power of hypnosis, right?
Exactly. Okay. And what I discovered with hypnosis is, one of the problems is people have this idea that it's going to work like this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah.
And that's everybody. It's just magic.
It's a magic wand, right? You just do your hypnosis magic on me, and then I'll lose 100 pounds.
Exactly.
Overnight.
Totally. And one of the problems is, too, is because I help perpetuate that myth because I do stage hypnosis.
Oh, right.
So when people go to a comedy hypnosis show, all they see is me snapping my fingers and people jump up and down and they fall asleep when I tell them to and all this stuff. What you're not realizing, folks, is that it's a very few people. It's a very small percentage of the population that can experience hypnosis like that. And it's all real. Everyone that I have come up on stage, I've had people ask me, are they plants, and stuff. And if you knew how much I made for some of these bar shows, you'd know I couldn't afford actors. And so it's very select people. And I've had some of those in hypnotherapy. You've probably had them too, that really one session does change their life.
Yeah.
I remember a woman one time that she told me that she didn't like to exercise, but she came back And he's taking pictures, folks.
Yeah.
And, she came back, she didn't like the exercise. She came back and she said, my exercise bike has been talking to me.
Oh.
Yeah. And I've been using hypnosis for on and off for 20 years, and my exercise bike never talks to me. Right? So,
Then we send them over to Randy after that.
exactly, right. He's the psychologist, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's a problem, is that people think they're going to be that person. And believe me, I wish I was that person.
Yeah.
I really do. That's phenomenal. But as you know, working with people, it's just like anything else when you're trying to, it's like seeing a personal trainer one time.
Yeah. For some people, it's transformational, but for 99% of people, it takes a little more effort than that.
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now that I've rambled on for about 40 minutes.
No, I mean, this is perfect. It's like keto chat. We're just chatting. So there's no, well, I have an agenda.
Oh, you do?
No, I'm just kidding. Well, so let's back up and kind of set the
Okay.
stage, because maybe some of the people watching don't really know what hypnosis is. Most people have heard of the term, or they've seen the stage shows as the most
Right.
exposure they've had. But how do you explain, when people ask, well, what is hypnosis even? How do you explain it?
Well, one of the things is it's really based on where your brain waves are. And a lot of people have this idea that that they can't be hypnotized.
Right.
As you know, I mean, in fact, I would say 99% of the people think they can't be hypnotized, where it's really the opposite.
Yeah.
It's about 1% that can't be hypnotized. And so everybody thinks they're the person that can't be hypnotized. And I love having those people on stage, because they're the funnest. Like, I can't be hypnotized. Great, sleep. And then, but so what hypnosis really is it's the same brainwaves that happen. Okay, let me just rephrase this, because some hypnotists say that hypnosis occurs. Do we want to get into the brainwaves? So there's 4 primary brainwaves. That there's also super gamma, but we don't talk about that too much. But so we start off we're in beta. Like right now, Carole and I are in beta.
Woohoo! Beta.
Exactly, beta. A lot of you, after listening to me, you're going into alpha. That means your brain waves are slowing down a little bit. Theta is when you're in light sleep, and you'll know when you're in light sleep because that's when you sort of start drifting off and you start dreaming a little bit. If you've ever had that feeling where you kind of jump, it's called the hypnic jerk, actually. And so that's theta. And then, of course, the slowest of the brain waves that we normally talk about, there's all kinds of variations depending on who you talk to, but that we normally talk about would be delta. That's deep sleep. So there's hypnotists that say hypnosis happens in alpha, and some say theta. Now, I believe it happens in both places. And the reason I think that is because I've had clients that experience either one. The way I know is because when they say alpha, they're the people that afterwards they go, I heard everything you said. And then you have the people that go into theta and they go, I didn't hear a word you said.
Yeah, I was asleep the whole time.
Exactly. So neither one of them thinks it worked for them, because one's going, I heard everything you said, so I wasn't hypnotized. The other one's go, I didn't hear a word you said, so I wasn't hypnotized. When the truth is, I think it happens in both places.
Yeah.
Either one, people have had great results.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
And so that's my very long explanation for what hypnosis is. But and then the way it works is that by getting you into those brain waves, we're able to implant what we call suggestions, and that's really what they are. They really are suggestions. They're not commands. You don't have to do what we say. In fact, if you watch a stage show, you'll see sometimes I tell people to do things and they don't do it. And they'll be doing everything else, and then for some reason, whatever, they just don't do it. And so that's really the way it is we're giving suggestions, and because we're implanting those suggestions during those brain waves, they take hold.
Well, and it's about that free will. So a lot of people think that hypnosis is about like doing something magical that you gain control over the other person, but I always assure people that they still have complete control. It's up to them whether they follow a suggestion or not.
Totally.
You can't hypnotize somebody to do something they wouldn't be willing to do otherwise.
I'll say yes and no. Well, here's the thing. In what most people are going to experience in hypnosis, I think it's totally impossible to make them do something they don't want to do. There have been a couple of examples, but they were both televised, so we don't really know because TV gets involved.
Yeah.
Tom Silver, an American hypnotherapist, did one, and then Derek, I forgot his name now, Derek Brown? shoot, I can't remember, I forgot his name. I think it's Derek Brown. Is it Darren Brown? Darren Brown, that's what it is. The camera guy is whispering at me. It's Darren Brown. He's a British mentalist, hypnotist. They've both done TV shows where they did get people to do something that they wouldn't normally do, but it was like.
But they're still willing to do it, right?
They were still willing to be hypnotized, right?
Yeah.
So you had to be willing to be hypnotized, and then they also, it took them. I mean, we're talking, I think a dozen sessions probably, and it was only like one. I mean, it was so hard to make it happen, and then even then, they didn't say like go shoot your mom.
Yeah.
You know, it was more like they were able to convince them that the reality was a little different than what they perceived.
Well, now that you say that, I think of another one. Did you see recently Howie Mandel on America's Got Talent, where
exactly.
he's a complete germaphobe, won't touch anybody's hand, and the guy was able to convince him under hypnosis that he could shake somebody's hand. I guess that would be another example of something that he didn't think he would ever be willing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe the way he got him to do that was because he actually he told him that he was wearing a glove.
Right.
And so it's not like he just told him go shake hands.
Yeah.
Like people, like I always, whenever I do a podcast with I have a lot of comedian friends now, and they always ask me this: could you get a girl to take her top off? And
if she was willing to do it anyways.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly. You know, we buy dinner first, maybe. I don't know. But it's not like I can walk into a bar and go take your shirt off. If I was able to in hypnosis convince her that her shirt was on fire or something, maybe. But it's the pretty rare person, and they're willing to do it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I would explain. People they see at the stage hypnosis,
Right.
or walking around with the lampshade. They'd be the people at a party you're at where you'd say, "Hey, put a lampshade on your head," and they'd be like, "Okay, what the heck? I'll do it."
Yeah. Exactly.
They just don't realize that they're that suggestible.
Right. It's really like we're just sort of like almost like alcohol. We're just kind of lowering their inhibitions. Because again, I mean, there are people that you tell them to do something and they won't for whatever reason.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes it's kind of weird. Like I had one time, or they come out of hypnosis for a little bit because one time I was talking about bad smells and good smells, and this girl came out of the hypnosis because she said all of a sudden it was a good smell of a cologne of a boyfriend that broke her heart. So she came out of the hypnosis and wouldn't participate anymore.
Oh, okay.
She just came out of it.
Too vulnerable emotionally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and I always explain hypnosis as it's a natural state of human consciousness, and we all go in and out of it all day long, and the only people that can't be hypnotized are the ones that don't feel comfortable with us in that situation. So it's not a matter of they don't possess the brain quality to be able to do that. It's just whether they feel comfortable in the presence of someone else, letting go of that control of their relaxation. So
that's exactly it. And like you said, I mean, at the very least, we go into hypnosis every night when we go to sleep and every morning when we wake up, because we're going through those brain waves. Whenever you go to sleep, you're going from that highly awake state of beta down into alpha, and then theta, and then delta, and then when you wake up, it's the reverse.
Yeah.
So at the very least, you're doing it twice a day.
And most people are doing it probably hundreds of times a day when they're driving in traffic and zoning out, or somebody's talking to them and they're like, wait, what did you just say?
Wait, what did you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
There's all those examples of it,
Yeah. Unfortunately, again, it's that myth that people have about hypnosis, which again I help perpetuate. But it's that myth that it's some sort of magical type of a thing, and it's just not helpful.
Oh.
Unfortunately, that myth. I mean, it's great for the people that come on stage because I think I'm commanding them to do things, and you do kind of feel like a puppet master after a show. But the truth is, they pretty much have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they do what they want to do.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the differences then between the stage hypnosis, the show, and then the therapeutic application of hypnosis. What do you see the differences in those?
Well, for one thing, and this is what people will sometimes, when they come in to see me for hypnotherapy, and they, and the funny thing about that too is the people at a show find it more, they're more impressed by the fact that I do hypnotherapy, and people that come in for hypnotherapy are more impressed that I do stage shows. Okay. There's this common feeling that people have, like, well, if you can hypnotize people on stage, you can do anything. That's not exactly true. It's a different process. What was the question again?
Just highlighting some of the differences between therapeutic hypnosis application and the stage hypnosis.
So we're using the same process. The one thing is like when I do When I do hypnosis in the office, I usually do what we call a progressive relaxation, talk them down through a, you're feeling more relaxed and there's clouds and all this stuff. And it's usually quiet except for some soft music playing in the background. Although for some people I do use a different induction if they, sometimes, I actually had a client one time who was not a good candidate for the stage hypnosis induction, but she really wanted to experience it, and so I did it for her. And what I mean by that is people that are more analytical usually don't do as well with the stage hypnosis. Because, and you always know who's analytical because afterwards you're like, I was really trying hard, but it just didn't happen. Like, that's why I keep reminding you, don't try, because it's when you're trying really hard and you're really focused on trying to be hypnotized.
Yeah.
It's when you can just relax and let go. Just follow the commands. So the people up on stage, well, number one, what you're going to notice, next time you go to a hypnosis show, notice this. Not everybody that gets called up is going to stay. Yeah. There's only been, I've only had maybe one show, I think, where I actually was able to keep everybody. It was crazy. But so, see, I get 10 people come up on stage. I'll end up with maybe, the longer I've done it, the more people I get to keep on stage. I get a little better at what I do. But, in the beginning, I'd only get to keep 2, out of 10. Now, if I have 10 people that come up, 5 to 8 of them are going to stick around for the whole show. And there's going to be 1 or 2 that are going to be the stars. And these are the people, number one, people that are really, let's just say maybe more suggestible to hypnosis. They're the ones that volunteer to come up.
Right.
It's like a self-selecting process. Somehow they're excited about it, they want to do it, so they're sort of already in that hyper suggestible state. So they're going to be the ones that come up. And then I'm going to run through the induction, which is that part where we're getting you into the state of hypnosis, and then I'm going to do what we call some tests. And these are going to be some little skits that aren't too tough, but they're sort of seeing where they're at. And depending on where they're at, if somebody's not hypnotized, I'm going to let them go. And people will and that's the other thing too, anytime I catch somebody trying to fake it, I want them out of there. Because people are always like, well, what if they're just faking? If they're faking it, I don't want them up there. Yeah. Because they're going to make it look bad, because people are going to think, well, hypnosis isn't real because that person was just faking. And so I want them out. The other thing is like if I had somebody come into my office, a lot of times they'll say, well, I know you do stage shows, so you're going to make me cluck like a chicken or bark like a dog?
Why is that always the question? Bark like a dog? Yeah.
I have never on stage made somebody bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken. Never. But they always want to know that, and that must be some sort of common thing that was done in the old days with stage hypnosis, because it sticks around. They always want to know that. The thing is, if I did that in the office, in the therapeutic setting, they'd probably come out of hypnosis anyway, because they would it wouldn't be congruent with what their goal was.
Right.
I came here to quit smoking. Why would I be barking like a dog? And so that's what they tell me. They say, "Are you going to make me, cluck like a chicken, bark like a dog?" I go, "Well, if it would help, if you quit smoking or whatever."
When you have the urge to smoke, you bark like a dog instead.
Exactly. But there's no therapeutic benefit, so no, I'm not going to make that happen. And I think that's sort of the difference. It's going to be, a different type of induction, and a different type of person.
And probably the biggest difference too then is that one's for entertainment and the other one's therapeutic goals of the client, what you establish together. And
exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is too is if somebody's ever like I have people a lot of times they go, well, they tried to hypnotize me at a show, but they couldn't hypnotize me. And so for one thing, I would say it's not that they couldn't hypnotize you; it's just in that moment you weren't able to go into the right state. And it really is mostly about the subject, not the practitioner. We can't make you go into hypnosis. All we can do is sort of guide you there. And a lot of people that can't be hypnotized on stage, they can still experience hypnotherapy because it's a totally different situation.
Well, I just like the people that are willing to volunteer to come up on stage. I find the ones that are standing in your office are generally the ones that are willing to be in that state as well. So they have a really high success rate of the people that actually show up. And
absolutely. Yeah.
So what kind of things do you work with, and then in the hypnotherapy, the therapeutic practice you have?
You know what? It's really interesting. When I was in Seattle, the clinic that I worked at, we had about 90. I think it was easily like 97% was weight loss. Okay. 2% smoking, and then 1% was everything else, and that's goal achievement, stress, those kind of things. And since I've been to Phoenix, maybe it's just because of the people that I've met during events and everything, mostly what I work with now are people for entrepreneurs really that are trying to reach their goals. It's also business people that are having trouble with the right mindset of being in business. Like one of the things is that I even do talks on the mindset of marketing, because some people get in this idea that they don't. It's hard for them to separate. When you're an entrepreneur, a business owner of your own, it's hard to separate yourself from the business, and so they have trouble promoting themselves because it feels like they're bragging, and so being able to separate those two. So I mean, really, I'm all over the place now.
Okay.
It really is.
Do you find there are some commonalities of underlying issues or problems that you're working with that applies both to weight loss and to entrepreneurs? Do you find that overlap?
Well, it all comes down to not being able to do what you know you should be doing.
Okay.
There's no real secrets. I don't impart, great wisdom or anything. Most people know. Now you, on the other hand, can help guide them towards like the ketogenic lifestyle or something. I don't necessarily advocate any certain kind of plan. If it was a weight loss client. In fact, I'll tell you the craziest thing with the weight loss is I've found, and this used to just bug the heck out of me, because for me when I'm at my ideal weight or close to it, is I feel like I have to be pretty strict. It's like meats and fats and vegetables. And I had clients that would come in and go, I still have pizza and chips, I just don't have as much of them. And I'm like, but then some people would do Atkins, and some people do ketogenic, and some people do this and that. But for the most part, people, we also all know too that probably eating pizza from like the local fast food place is not going to be the same thing as if you make pizza at home, right? Or if you have the healthier version of it. And I think that we all kind of know, obviously you should eat more vegetables. Right? Most people know that. I don't have to tell them that.
Yeah.
They already know that. So it's mostly, I think people know what to do. They're just not doing it.
So it's just getting that internal congruence that
exactly
their behaviors can match what their goals and values are.
Totally.
Yeah.
Man, that's great. You write that down?
Yeah. We'll do that as your commercial.
Okay, good.
Jim Kellner.
Exactly.
Helping people become congruent. Wait, now I don't remember what I said.
It was so brilliant you forgot.
Yeah, well, it came from that higher wisdom place, right? Where most of our scripts come from anyways.
That's right. Same thing happened to Jesus, but he had those 12 disciples right
Yeah,
away,
yeah.
So.
Well, I've only got one guy so far following around writing
Yeah,
stuff down. Well, we don't have to write things down now because we have video.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and we have Facebook, so everything's recorded forever.
I used to sometimes when I be working with a client, or sometimes just when I'm working with a client now, like these things just come to you that are like, I go, oh my, I really have to write that down because that's pretty good.
Wait, what did I say? I forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Gosh, I had another question. I was there and I was paying attention to what you were saying.
Shoot, that's what you get.
Yeah. Let's see. We talked about how you got here, what you do. So how about some of the, with eating habits? So let's say you're working with somebody with eating habits. So what are, so we know that you don't necessarily tell them exactly what to eat. It's more about helping them achieve the lifestyle and goals that they want. What are some of the, how does hypnosis help? There we go. Let's start over.
Okay. Cut.
Yeah.
Action.
Yeah. How does hypnosis help with habit change? So that's a big thing people want, are struggling with their eating habits is, people that come to me for hypnosis is that I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what I should be eating, but for some reason I can't do that. I keep falling into these old habits. So how does hypnosis help you change your habits?
It's those suggestions. What I hear from clients a lot of times is they say, I hear your voice over and over again, telling me to.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite things to say is, now I can't remember what it is, the more difficult a situation is, the more challenging the person you're dealing with, the more relaxed you become.
Oh, yeah.
Because you realize the more relaxed you are, the better, more efficiently you handle every situation, every person. And they tell me that I hear that thing over and over. And the goal really is that after a while it stops being my voice and becomes their voice.
Yeah.
And so it's like you just have this little angel on your shoulder going, and it's not like you can't eat the pie,
Yeah.
But it's like, you really want that. Are there alternatives? Because one of the biggest things that I ran into with clients was that they would say, you know what, I just forget. I don't even think about it until I've already had, half the gallon of ice cream, right? And so it's that's like, I still think about the ice cream maybe, but, now I go, well, maybe I'll have an apple first and see if I still want the ice cream. I gotta tell you, that was one of the biggest things. It's funny, I just had ice cream a couple nights ago, but I remember one of the things when I was at my heaviest, I had ice cream pretty much every day. And one of the things that kept me from trying to lose weight was because I thought there's no way I could ever go without having ice cream every day. And finally I got to the point where I was like, no, I can have ice cream every once in a while. And then after a while, I literally went probably months, even years without having ice cream. I didn't miss it.
Yeah.
And see, that's the key.
Yeah.
That's what we're really trying. My goal in hypnosis is that you don't miss the ice cream. You realize that there are other choices. I've made, for instance, I've made like blueberry coconut cream, quote, ice cream that was amazing. Just by using like the Trader Joe's canned coconut cream with some blueberries. And it's really good. So you find that, the way it helps is to just it gives them that reminder all the time that there are choices and that, that you can make better choices and that it's possible. For a lot of people, myself was one of them, I just didn't think it was possible. I thought there was just no way.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah, I see that a lot with my clients that are, part of their identity is that I eat ice cream every night.
Right.
I can't imagine being anything else, so how could I ever give that up?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the other thing you're pointing out is that kind of that broken record recording or the inner voice that people have. A lot of people that I work with are, their inner voice is very critical.
Oh, absolutely.
Or it's telling them, oh, poor me, I can't have that.
Exactly.
I should have a little bit because I should get to have, it would be fair if I could have the same things everyone else can have.
Right.
Whereas you're putting a new voice in their head that's actually more empowering. And it's a positive broken record voice.
Exactly. And I'm sure you'll agree too, because I've watched your postings and everything. It changes your life completely. You get to the point where hopefully they come to this point. And I remember, especially when I was at one point I was walking in the morning, I was running at lunch, and I was going to Zumba or weight training at night. I felt better than ever, and so it was sort of like, it's not like I'm going, I can't have ice cream now. I'm like,
right.
I get to like do other stuff.
Yeah.
I get to have a life now, and for so many people, food becomes their life. And I remember like whenever I would travel, like I wasn't looking for, I wasn't Googling, greatest sites to see. I was like looking best buffet in Chicago.
Oh my gosh, right? You saw my post about that. That was,
what?
No. That was, so before I came to visit Phoenix, somebody asked me the day before, like, are you going to go to In-N-Out when you're down there? And I was like, oh, wow, I really hadn't even thought of where I'm going to eat while I'm down there. I just know that on keto, like, I don't have much of an appetite, and I can always find something to eat wherever. And I realized for the first time in my life, the same thing that you said, like whenever I was going to go anywhere, that was the first thing that I did was, where am I going to eat when I go there? And my whole itinerary was planned around where I was going to eat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so this trip is so I thought you were commenting about what I'd said, but yeah, that's exactly what I experienced. Was like, I can just come down here and and meet people and hang out, and then like, oh yeah, I might go eat this place or that place. And I did go to In-N-Out and get a double protein style, so you can go wherever and find stuff to eat. But yeah, it's really freeing, and hypnosis can do that as well, that change that mindset so that it's not about deprivation or obsessing about food. It's just about what else is there in your life. Really, and that's, I remember having clients that would say that it was like the smoker that's like, I can't imagine my life without cigarettes. Yeah.
Because the cigarettes always been there. But yeah, it's like, well, I remember this one guy said a similar thing, and I actually told him, and he goes, because at that point I was even 20 pounds lighter, and so, he was just amazed at that I used to think that way, I was like, no, because that's it was his thing. It was, well, if we go on a trip or something, that's the first thing I'm thinking about. What are we going to eat? What's the best restaurant in town? All that stuff. I was like, well, what if it was different? What if you were looking up what's the best places to go for a hike at? Things like that. So while you're maybe technically giving up stuff, you're really not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what is just such a huge thing for people to understand. Food doesn't have to be your best friend anymore.
Yeah. It's very freeing when you get to that place too.
My goodness, yeah.
Yeah, so ketogenic diet helps you get your metabolism that way so that you're no longer obsessed about food. And then hypnosis is a tool then that can help. I think of it as a bridge. So maybe in the beginning when you're really struggling with, like, I'm still addicted to carbs and I'm just really, really having a hard time bridging that gap of making, I know what I should be eating. I know, that reducing carbs would be good for me, but I'm having trouble with that. So hypnosis can be that tool that can help people bridge that gap from, like you said so well, like from what they know they should do to what they are actually doing.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so how do they do that? I mean, how do you get away from the pie?
How do you get away from pie? Well, one of the ways that I actually, the psychology of my 90-day challenge program is, we're turning the interview around here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
one of the psychology of the 90-day challenge program is that it's much easier to people to think like, well, I'm going to do this for this period of time and I'm going to try it out. Whereas if I approach people and said, guess what? You can never have sugar, grains, or fruit again in your entire life, and that's the only way it's going to work. They'll be like, yeah, call me some never.
Yeah.
And whereas it's like, try it for 90 days. If it doesn't work for you, you can always go back to doing what you were doing.
Right.
See how you feel. See how it makes you feel. And that is a much easier thing for people to try on. Like,
Right.
okay. And the other thing with the 90 days is it takes about that long for your body to get really good at using fat as its primary fuel. So it also gives people that expectation that it takes time to do this and build those habits. And so that's part of how I get people to make that transition is. And then it's a group program as well, so they've got that group support where they're not the only one trying to do it. I actually get better results in the group than I do even one-on-one, because one-on-one the people are like, well, I'm by myself, and if I cheat this week, I'll just get on track next week. Whereas in the group, we all start together and we're doing this week by week together. And so they've got the support, but then they've also got the accountability of like, okay, everybody else is keeping an eye on what I'm doing, so I better keep up as well. So those are all the components that really help people get rid of pie. It's just 90 days. You can give up pie for 90 days,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You can have lots of pie when you're done, if you want to.
If you want
If
to.
you want to.
Yeah,
There's a
exactly.
hypnotic suggestion, right?
That's right.
If you want to.
That's right. If you want to. Yeah, and I was listening to your. It's not funny. I don't know what the point was, but I just listened to your the podcast you did with the Keto Evangelist.
Okay.
And there was something about that was interesting. I like that you said that first 90 days is to even stay away from artificial sugar and everything, any kind of sweet stuff.
Yeah, I do. So I kind of do 3 phases of the 90 days. So the first 30 days for sure,
30 days.
no sweets, not even any no-calorie keto-friendly sweeteners.
Even pie then.
Even pie. Well, you can do, how about a kidney pie or shepherd's pie made with cauliflower, creamy cauliflower on top? Like, there's different kinds of pies. Right?
I gotta try the whole. I just saw because I love hash browns.
Oh,
And-
there's a cauliflower version, and then
yes.
there's also radishes people are using as well. So grated, that when you cook them, they taste like potatoes.
Radishes.
Yeah, like red. Think
I
of the
love
little red
radishes.
potatoes. Yeah, once you cook them, roast them, fry them, they
Really?
taste very similar to potatoes.
I'm gonna take your word
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Let me try that out.
I used them in a stew the other day, and I was really surprised that
Really?
they. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I mean, I love radishes. It just doesn't seem they would.
Yeah, raw, they're totally different than
Yeah.
when they're cooked. So
Wow.
yeah.
Awesome.
But you were asking about the no sweeteners
pie.
in
Yeah,
the pie.
Yeah.
Sounds like you like pie.
The ketogenic kind with lots of butter.
Yeah. Well, and I know that Maria Emmerich has a pseudo apple pie that she has zucchini, and then just the cinnamon flavors, and makes an apple pie that way.
Well, and I also I could make one. I know I could. I made a like a paleo quiche before. And I used coconut flour, and it turned out really well.
Yeah.
Except the coconut flour was a little too sweet, so I think if I'd used a different kind, or if I'd used it for like with apples or something, it would have been much better because it had that kind of sweet taste. But it's possible. It's just
Have you not seen my chocolate cream keto pie?
I think I did see that. We need to talk about that more. Tell us more about that.
Well, so I did a coconut flour crust.
Okay, yes.
And
So far.
the filling is pure cocoa butter is white and it's solid, right? So at room temperature, it's very hard as opposed to like coconut oil in Phoenix is probably liquid.
Yeah.
In Seattle, it's firm.
Right,
but yeah, cocoa butter is very solid at room temperature. And so I use that as the fat. So I melt that, and then I also blend in avocados, which is more of a raw foods pie. They did like avocado and cocoa powder. So in this one I did avocado, cocoa butter melted, and then cocoa powder. And then some, keto-friendly sweeteners are like Swerve, or some people like stevia. You just blend that in, and then you refrigerate it, and the cocoa butter solidifies. And so you get the same texture as you do with a chocolate cream pie. And it's rich and delicious and tons of fat in it and no sugar, very low carbs.
Perfect.
Very satisfying. So I made that over the holidays last year, so.
I gotta say too, this whole thing with fat finally being okay is so frustrating to me because I remember, all because of this Ansel guy, I can't remember his last name, but
Ansel Keys,
Ansel Keys, all this time, like I eat eggs every single day now, and I avoided eggs for years, and my biomarkers are all better now.
Yeah.
But I'm eating like actual real butter instead of margarine and eating no eggs. It's amazing, and I just think about all the eggs that I missed out on.
You probably threw the yolks away and had all those whites. Yeah.
Even if I went that far.
Now I actually, I tell people a lot that the keto diet is actually pretty much the opposite of what we've been told for the last 30 years. Like more fat, don't eat whole grains, we don't eat fruit. Vegetables are great, but you don't really need a ton of them. More salt as well. So when you're when you're eating less than 60 grams of carbs a day, you need to supplement with at least 1 teaspoon of salt a day.
Perfect.
So more salt, yeah. So it's all the opposite. And exercise is good for you, but you don't have to exercise to lose weight.
I love that. Well, that's one of the big things too. Is that I was when you're working with when I work with clients and they're. I don't even think that the best reason to exercise is to lose weight.
Right.
The best reason to exercise is because it feels awesome. Once you start doing it, you just feel better. I mean, you almost can't if you start off slow. I mean, a lot of people start off too crazy, and that's because the problem is like doctors are telling their patients that are 100 pounds overweight, they're saying you got to go and you got to exercise. 40, the newest recommendations are that it's 45 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and I would have clients. I would have to try not to get in an argument with clients going, look, the hypnosis is not going to take you 45 minutes 5 days a week if you haven't done anything in 20 years. That's so frustrating. Like doctors, in some ways, I was lucky because I actually had a nurse that I met with every time that I went to the doctor. The nurse she was so sweet. Her name was Mickey or something like this. And I should have wrote her a thank you note, but she would tell me every time, she goes, done any exercise this time? And I go, no, but this time I'm going to do 30 minutes, 4 days a week. She goes, how about if you just did 5 minutes? And I was like, what all my clients say, that's not enough. It's not. 5 minutes won't do anything. It really won't. Except it might make you feel a little bit better, but it gets you to be able to do 7 minutes and then 10 minutes. And that's what's so, it's like you're just, please, I beg you, only do 5 minutes at first. Do 10 minutes, And that's what really got me is I started doing 5 minutes, and then next thing you know, I was doing 15. And God bless her, man, because she was one of the reasons that I was able to get to where I was really exercising a lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
Slow, gradual steps.
Back to the chocolate pie.
Yeah. I'll have to send you that recipe. And that actually probably would work in Phoenix because the cocoa butter would be solid. So.
Now, cocoa butter, is that from coconut or from chocolate?
It's from chocolate.
Oh.
So it's basically when they take the cocoa powder out, it's the fat that's left. And it's white. And it's actually what white chocolate should be made of. But most white chocolate is made from hydrogenated oils because that's cheaper. Yeah.
I was going to buy lard a while back, and it was hydrogenated.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? You're taking this perfect food and you're putting Why? I don't...
Because it's cheap. It's cheaper. That's all. Yeah.
Oh, it was so frustrating.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Why would you go to this extra trouble to make it so unhealthy?
Yeah. That's too bad. Well, that'd be great in the crust of your pie too.
Oh,
but non-hydrogenated.
Right, if I can find any.
Local sourced, organic, free-range pigs.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, I wonder, in wrapping this up, if you might be willing to do a freestyle maybe we can call it a guided imagery. Some people are a little bit nervous about hypnosis, but we can also call it guided imagery of instilling the best eating habits with a focus on that. And I'll sit next to you and join you in it.
Sure.
Success, whatever people are struggling with, kind of this, a generic bringing out your best you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about putting you on the spot with that?
I love it.
Okay.
I also, it's fun. I love the way you said it, you called it a guided imagery.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very famous hypnotist here in town, and when I first moved here, everybody asked me about it. They're like, oh, do you know this guy? And you probably know who I'm talking about, but I won't say it. The thing is, so I was like, I gotta meet this guy. And so I met him, and his story is really incredible. And I'd love to talk to you guys afterwards about it, but it's a really incredible story. And I met him, I talked to him, really cool guy. This is what he told me. He doesn't call it hypnosis, he calls it meditation.
Okay.
And he said, I call it meditation because everybody's afraid of hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's good. That's good. So guided imagery, meditation, whatever.
Well, and it could be considered prayer as well. So it's the same brainwave state. Yeah.
And that's the other thing, I mean, so even if you don't think the hypnosis is helping folks for whatever, it's at least getting you to the same brainwaves as meditation.
Yeah.
And meditation has been shown in countless studies to be very good for you. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We'll
sleep. Work. Be naked. No, didn't work.
Oh.
It's working. Right? Put your clothes back on.
Buy me a drink first? No.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so if you will, just go ahead and start by taking a nice, deepish breath. Doesn't have to be too deep, whatever's comfortable for you. Best if both your feet are flat on the floor, arms, like Carole's got it right there. She's obviously done this before. But really, whatever's comfortable.
I'm a plant, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm paying her. Really just whatever's most comfortable for you. It's probably going to be even better if you're lying down. Just take a few relaxing breaths. And just consider the possibility that you could be hypnotized. I wonder what it would be like if you were hypnotized. Imagine if you were. What would that feel like? What would that look like? How would your body look? What would it sound like? And then if you will, just imagine there's a giant wave of relaxation traveling from the top of your head all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. And if you have any difficulty imagining the things that I talk about, you can just pretend because it'll work the same. And so just imagine these giant waves of relaxation traveling down through your forehead, your scalp, all the way down through the muscles of your face. Watch them as they move down through your neck and shoulders. Listening as they travel all the way down through the arms, through the elbows, all the way down to the tips of your fingers. Just enjoying the feeling of finally just letting go. Feeling those gentle waves of relaxation as they travel down to the torso. Feel them moving through the legs all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. Just relaxing, just letting go. And if you'd like, you can just take another nice deep breath and just exhale slowly. Just let it go. Letting those eyelids become really heavy. Not because I said so, but that's because they just feel heavy. Just letting your whole body go loose and limp. Feeling really, really good. At times your body may feel the need to shift or move around a little bit, and that's okay. It's just releasing tension. And as soon as that tension is released, you'll find that you can relax. That's right, even more. Just letting go completely. Just relaxing. And you may find that your mind begins to wander at different times, other places, relaxing vacation spots, someplace you've been to or imagined. You may even find that you begin counting down from 500, 499, 498, 497, allowing each and every one of those numbers to just guide you even deeper. But only as deep as is comfortable for you right now. Very good. And if it's comfortable for you, you may even find yourself at the top of a set of stairs, just 5 stairs. This is your relaxation staircase, and you can use this relaxation staircase any time that you need to just relax. As you begin walking down those stairs, as I talk to you, you'll notice perhaps that you become more relaxed with every step. Stepping down to number 4, twice as relaxed as you were before. Noticing all the muscles in the body going loose and limp. Now some of you may begin to feel a heaviness in the body as you begin to experience deeper and deeper levels of relaxation. You may even begin to feel a lightness as your body becomes so buoyant with the relaxation. You may notice some numbness or tingling in a body part as you begin to really experience that deeper and deeper level of relaxation. And when you step down to the 3rd step, allow yourself to go 10 times deeper, stepping down to that 3rd step. And then 2, on this very next step, you may find that you even begin to drift off, and the words that I'm saying may completely drift from your mind, or you may even find that you're even focused more clearly on the words that I'm saying. Either way is perfect for you. Whatever you're feeling right now is perfect for you in this moment. And the longer you relax, the deeper you'll go into this nice meditative state. Experiencing deeper and deeper levels of relaxation as you step down to that 1st step, going even deeper. And you may find as you relax deeper and deeper that you're beginning to realize that you love yourself. You respect yourself because you are beneath no one. You're finding in the coming days, weeks, months, and years perhaps that it's easier and easier to attain your goals, whatever those goals are. You may find that it's easier to exercise or eat healthy foods. You may even find that you begin to enjoy those activities. Or perhaps you're really focused on some habit that's no longer serving you. And I wonder if right now in this moment you'd be willing to let that go. Sometimes those things can happen instantaneously. Sometimes they can release over several moments. And I wonder if you're going to release that habit right now or in a moment from now. Either way is fine. Whatever's best for you. Good. That's right. Allowing those gentle waves of relaxation to continue traveling all the way from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet. Finding that the more relaxed you become, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more relaxed you are. And I wonder if you'd be willing to focus on a goal that you might have. Really hold that goal right there in your mind. And as you begin to notice in the coming days, weeks, months, perhaps even years, when you focus on that goal first thing in the morning, the last thing at night, it becomes easier and easier to achieve that goal and any goal that you have. You already know how powerful you are, and even if you don't know how powerful you are, you begin to realize it. I know how powerful you are. Many people know. And you'll also find in the coming days, weeks, months, and even years that the more difficult the situation you're facing, the more challenging the person you're dealing with, the more relaxed you become. You've discovered that the more relaxed you become, the easier it is to deal with all situations, all people. So you can just let go of anything that might have gotten in your way in the past. Now in a moment I'm going to begin counting from 1 to 5. When I say 5, you can feel free to just come out of whatever state of relaxation you're in right now, remembering that whatever state of relaxation you're in is perfect for you. In fact, if you listen to this again and again, you may even notice that you'll go deeper every time, more relaxed, more comfortable. And before we begin to come back to our normal state of consciousness, begin to, if you will, imagine that there's something that will represent the words that have resonated for you in this guided imagery session. Something that will represent it, a symbol perhaps, something visual that you can see, or something that you hear, might even smell or taste, or just feel it. Whatever it is perfect for you. And even though you may start to wonder, was that the perfect one for me? It is the perfect one for you. So just let that symbol, that representation, represent everything that you found valuable in this particular guided imagery. The truth is, you know exactly what's best for you. So you can begin to apply that knowledge from here on out. Imagine yourself right now having achieved everything that you want to achieve, maybe all at once, maybe step by step. Allow it to become concrete in your mind as it resonates through every system, every cell. Allow it to become concrete and powerful for you. As you notice how it looks, sounds, feels, even tastes and smells, having achieved whatever it is you'd like to achieve. Even if all you'd like to achieve is just a deeper state of relaxation. Because now as I say 1, you can start to come back feeling more relaxed, more comfortable. 2, coming back feeling more motivated, more determined to do whatever it is that you'd like to do. 3, perhaps wiggling your fingers and toes a bit as you come out of this state of relaxation. 4, you may want to stretch a bit as you come back into your normal state of awareness. And then 5, just whatever's comfortable for you, opening your eyes, going on about your day. Feeling more powerful, more confident than ever before. All the way back now.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I feel great. I feel fantastic.
Excellent.
It's not often I get to have the experience that you get to help others experience.
Absolutely.
And I remember how just all the suggestions are so empowering and positive, and one of the things I always point out to people is you just feel so relaxed and happy
Right.
after hypnosis, where some therapies, when you're done, you maybe don't feel as happy and calm put together. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So it seems like all therapy should at least end with some hypnosis, right? So you
Yeah.
can have a
Or
happy,
guided
good feeling
imagery.
here.
Yeah.
That's what we.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I feel awesome. I can't wait to see how my life's going to change now with this.
Absolutely.
I love all of that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Wow. I'm just so blissed out now. I can't even figure out any other good questions. So
It's time for keto pie.
yeah, I think we'll just wrap this up and have some delicious lunch or something. Huh? Well, Jim, I thank you so much. This has been so fantastic chatting with you here. I wish you all the best. We'll link down below how people can get in contact with you if they want to work with you, and because you work remotely with clients as
That's
well.
right.
So anywhere that you live, anywhere,
Anywhere.
you could have this.
You can find me at pie.com.
Jim Pie. You're gonna change your name to Jim Pie now.
That's right. Jim Pie.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. This has been Carole Freeman of Hypnotic Nutrition and Jim Kellner of Jim Kellner. All right. Well, thank you, sir. It's been great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye now.